Hi. Hello? Hi. Good morrow and welcome. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Hi, it's Oops All Dragons, your favorite, very professionally introduced podcast about nerdy shit and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. I'm Lisa.
I'm Varun.
And we've got a guest episode. We've got friend Marissa in the virtual studio today. Say hi, Marissa.
Hello.
We're gonna get into some shit. Marissa is a fellow film entertainment person, so Varun can probably leave the room, but please don't. Somebody's got to keep this train on some track.
Keep the wheels running here.
Spinning. But I want to know what you've been up to.
Who?
You
You direct the question to one of us.
And
also,
you're the one who usually rolls into the.
I'm the one who usually does this. Well, I was going to say, Marissa, before we get into all of our bullshit that we've been doing, what's a quick intro review so everyone knows where you're coming from.
Okay, hi.
Elevator pitch.
Oh, okay. I'm Marissa. I live in Orlando. Yeah. I don't really know how to elevator pitch myself, but
D&D specifically.
Yeah. Oh, so I am a DM in my campaign. It's just with a bunch of close friends. It kind of goes everywhere. I've been doing that for a while, and then I'm currently writing a whole D&D campaign based off The Bachelor, so that's fun.
We're gonna get into this.
Hold on, yes. Hidden that, we're going to come back around to this, because this is very relevant to our interests right now.
Yeah, especially with what you told me before we started. I have so many more questions.
Perfect.
Okay. But yes, before we get into the RPG stuff, what we have been up to, let's go back to me originally, because Lisa threw it to me. So I have been catching up with the latest episode of Atlanta, and I will reiterate, I think I spoke about it on last episode as well. Very good show. Donald Glover being really avant-garde with certain things. Like the last episode, I don't want to talk about it in too much detail, because it's one of those things of you've got to see it and you've got to interpret it yourself. But overall, the first two seasons kind of had an arc of what they were trying to accomplish, even though there were episodes in between that just had nothing to do with anything, or just something completely different. The first one is about getting famous, but getting local famous. So in their case, getting famous in the Atlanta area. And the second episode is getting famous, internationally famous. And this, what you have to do to get there. And then this third season is, okay, now once you're famous, what does that life look like? And, would you even, if you had a choice, would you even want to do it? Because there's a certain point where Albert Paperboy, he just he just talks to a random guy about what his life is like now that he's famous, and he's like, I didn't even like rap. It's it made me money, and now I'm here, and now I don't do anything else. And I was like, Jesus, how many famous people feel like this? Where yes, they have the fame and they have money and all of that, and just being in the public eye. But it's not necessarily
what they want.
Exactly. There's all this other stuff that he wanted to do, and living in the public eye is just such a pain in the ass for him. He never wanted it, and now he's stuck. He's essentially in a dead end job of just being famous, and that's his life. And it's very interesting.
Being famous is it's a dumb job. Let's just say that.
No, I know. Famous people
But I think that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah. And it gets into the whole thing of like he's a performer of color, so that's a whole other thing in America, in Europe, and that whole feeling of like he kind of feels like the dancing monkey of just like he's got to perform because that's what he does now, because that puts food on the table. And yeah, it's and the season goes lots of other places as well, but I think that's the big through line of the whole thing of like, okay, you made it, like you got what you wanted. Was it what you actually wanted? And the answer is really no, at least for him. And now there's like, what does he do with his life? And like, what all, because like all the other people around him, all his friends who helped him come up, are his people now. Like they get a living through him because they help him. They're his manager, all that stuff. So it's super interesting.
Yeah, it's got to be like weird to have like, okay, your group of friends who help you
friends and family.
Yeah, your friends and family who help you get to a certain point, and then, what does it do to your relationships when your friends and family are on your payroll? Exactly.
There's a whole episode about that, about just the doubts he has about just like all the people around him, and like him speaking, like his internal dialogue essentially becoming external, and him having a conversation with the subconscious about all the distrust he has with the people around him. And it's like you just watch the episode and it's like, damn, I gotta like watch something else for a minute. So yeah.
I love a show that forces you to just like, all right, hold on, I gotta Google.com puppy videos. I don't know, just like capybaras in a sauna.
Something
just
else.
like
Just
something to
anything
cleanse.
else.
Yeah.
It makes you think, but it's also like some of these episodes are depressing. They take you to some dark places.
The live action BoJack Horseman.
It's not. I don't think it's that bad because there are ups and downs, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, the overall message at the end is usually like things are kind of fucked, and in some ways there's nothing we can do about it, and just like, how do we deal with that as people? So overall, very good show. And I've also been watching The Wonder Years, the new reboot / also like kind of sequel, because apparently the original Wonder Years follows like a white family during the 60s into the 70s, and now this one's a black family in Alabama during the 60s and the 70s. Very different tone, very much better shot. It's not shot like a typical 80s 90s sitcom, and also very, very good. Although I hear Fred Savage, who was on the original and was a producer on this one, has now gotten into some trouble for certain things and been removed for the show, so that's probably not great, but the show overall, very good.
I mean, it's great to know that people are starting to actually suffer consequences for shitty behavior.
Mm-hmm. But that is what I've been up to. Lisa, over to you.
Oh boy. So, I went to the Renaissance Fair again.
Of course.
I went 2 weeks ago and we recorded our last episode, and then yesterday I last minute got a ticket to go.
Okay.
And I don't know,
oh my
it was
God.
a good time.
You were just deprived of the Ren Fair over here for so many years, and now you just have free reign.
I've always known that, like, once I start going to these things, like, yeah, it's over. I'm like, of course, it's like,
yeah, this is my thing.
Like, I think, like, it gives me the same. It's similar rush as to anime conventions, like what that used to do for me, like going to MetroCon, going to SuperCon, going to MegaCon, but there was always like something that was missing from those events for me, and the Ren Fair does it for me.
Is it
where it's like, you know, you have the costumes, you have the people, you have the like-minded people, but it's like the fantasy theming.
Yeah,
I'm not that
it's
much
the
of an
theming.
anime person, but the theming, the theming is it for me. I mean, like, it's an event with a joust. I mean, how am I?
You've been a
I'm a
dragon
simple
fan for
man.
how long?
I am a simple man, okay? There's a guy on a horse. Somebody's in armor. There's, like...
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like... I'm a predictable person. You talk to me for 5 minutes, and you're like, yeah, this person probably enjoys the Renaissance Fair. And now, I used to be able to say, like, I'd never been, but now I can say I've been. And it just feels like, yeah, of course you have.
I've always been here.
Like, I'm like seriously starting to consider, like, I don't know, working there next year or something. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
There are plans.
I was gonna say, like, you know, just like you speak about cons, I have, you know, obviously gone to my share of cons, but I've also had the opportunity to work at a couple of cons, and that changes how you look at cons when you come at it from the other side. Just like anything, when you stop doing it for pleasure and it becomes work, even if it's you know, semi-work volunteer situation and you're doing it to get the free ticket, you usually don't get to enjoy it the same way or as much when you're on the other side of that. You know, I got the opportunity to go work MegaCon this year, and it's like, fuck no. The last time I went, I did not have fun, like, as a fan, and then, like, yeah, let me go work there too. No, like, I don't know, like, even Dragon Con, like, I love Dragon Con. I don't think I would want to work Dragon Con. There's, like, last time there was 80,000 people there, so to, like, be one of those purple shirts that people, like, have to help people or something like that in that place, like, fuck no. I would just want to go there and enjoy it as a fan. So something to be cautious of, just because I've had a friend who's been in the similar situation of go to the Ren Fair, start working the Ren Fair, get really burnt out on the Ren Fair.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely see that happening, but I kind of want it. I don't know why. I love going, hey, I like this thing. I'm going to just
Lisa,
go so deep into it that I actually turn around and hate it. It's a pattern. It's a pattern, and it's a problem.
You're. Please don't get into drugs, Lisa. Like really hard drugs. Like, please.
No, see, but that's the thing, is that, like, if I did, it would just like a flashbang. It would just be like,
but you know,
it would fizzle out real quick.
Or you kill yourself. There's also that. But all right. So that dark metaphor out of the way. Anything else?
And then anything. The other thing. Fuck. I had something else that I forgot.
Any Ursula K. Le Guin or?
Actually, yes. That is what it is. There was one more book in the Earth-Sea cycle that I hadn't gotten to, The Other Wind. So I started.
Have no reference on that one. I never got that far.
So I started listening to that. I also started listening to The Left Hand of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
The Left Hand of Darkness? Yeah, which is one of her sci-fi books.
Okay.
It is pretty good. It's, like, set on this, like, planet where it's, like, human type people, but they're, like, genderless society. It's, like, a whole thing.
Okay.
I haven't gotten too far into it yet.
All right.
And it's pretty, like, politicky. I don't know. I kind of have to... I picked it up and then I, like, let my my hold on it pass, so I need to, like, pick it up from the beginning again. But it's pretty good.
So
she
we're
has
just
this
gonna
whole
do that Ursula K. Le Guin episode for you. Just keep getting more.
She has
ammo.
this great, like, the intro to Left Hand of Darkness. There's basically, like, this essay, like, before, you know, you get even into the prologue.
Mm-hmm.
She has this whole introduction into the book where, you know, she has this meditation on the function of sci-fi not as a predictor of the future, but as like a mirror of the present, and through the framework of like a fictional future. And I think that's like, that's like the first time I've seen in like words something that like I feel like I've understood but never really thought about in regards to sci-fi. And I think like, God, I love her.
Okay.
I love her. Like, it makes me kind of upset that I didn't discover Ursula Le Guin until like so recently, because I'm like, I would have been a much better person if I had been reading Ursula Le Guin in middle school. Actually, I'd be way more annoying, which is difficult, but possible.
Okay. And did you ever get the audiobook of the Return of the King?
That only just finally I got to borrow it, so that's going to be what I'm listening to this week.
Okay.
And I will report back.
Cool. All right. So, last on the table here, Marissa.
Yeah.
Last.
Oh, I have been packing. That's basically what I've done. I'm going to Montana next week.
Oh?
My family were going to Yellowstone, which I've never been really like to Montana, so that's exciting.
Okay.
And
There's
then
nothing there. I've been there multiple times.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's nothing there.
Unless you go to Bozeman, like what part of Montana are you going to?
Yeah, we're going to Bozeman and like Jackson Hole and like.
Okay, Bozeman is good. Like it's a nice little college town, so there is stuff to do there, or at least like nice places to go. And then yes, Yellowstone is fairly close to there. And then if you go the opposite direction, if you just want to wander, there's the Big Sky area. If you just want to see like land and all the wacky things people have put on it through the years, and a town that's underwater, and also a town that you could drive through in literally 5 minutes.
Welcome to Varun's travel podcast.
I will take all the advice. I have no idea what we're doing.
I've been around.
You've been everywhere. It's crazy.
I have not been everywhere. I've been to like
it
half
feels
the
like it.
But yes, I don't want to stomp on your thing, but yeah, Bozeman, like Montana in general, once you get outside of some of the more developed areas, is just land, like unincorporated land. So if you want to like just see stuff, like nature, and maybe some cows, be fun.
So exciting. Cows.
I love a cow.
But Bozeman itself, Bozeman is a good town. It's building up pretty well. So you're
Shout out Bozeman.
Probably gonna have stuff to do there. Good food to eat at least. And then yeah, if they have certain like events that'll go on monthly. So depending on the time you go, they might have like a music festival, like a local music festival going on. They just have that every month because it's a tight knit enough community that they just have it on the reg.
That's so nice. I love that.
So, yeah.
On the reg.
So Bozeman, and then anything else?
I mean, I'm catching up on shows that I didn't catch up on, like, during the school semester. So, like, I'm currently watching Below Deck, Down Under. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is.
My God. Yes, I know what that is.
Oh, it's so good.
And this is going to come into play to what we're going to talk about as we're... No, you know what? This is the time now. Because it's a reality show.
Wait, that's the reality show, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait. There's an... Is it always been... So Down Under, it's Australian?
Yeah, but there's like different versions. There's like just Below Deck, there's Below Deck Mediterranean, there's Below Deck Down Under, and then there's Below Deck Sailing Yacht.
Oh my God.
It's a good show. It's a really good show.
Oh boy. I think we all had our reality TV phase. I don't think for you it's a phase, because you want to work in reality TV production industry, right?
I do.
So we talked slightly about this ahead of time. So Lisa, you're in production right now. And then
yeah, but what I do is scripted. But I know
it's very different. And then
yeah.
But from what I can glean, reality TV show is also fairly scripted, correct? or manipulated, maybe.
No.
Or does it depend on the show?
It's guided.
Yeah, that's the word.
Guided.
You know?
People are nudged in certain directions.
But,
Potentially.
I love neither of us being able to like just non-committal.
You can do as much as you want, but it's not up to you, it's up to the editors.
It's up to the editor.
Exactly. It was rigged. It was rigomoris, girl. Rigomoris.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I'm probably just gonna be quiet and like. So you want to become a reality TV producer, work in production on that side?
Yeah. That's
poor Kay. Poor, like, what?
I mean, Maroon, it's kind of what DMing is. It's like,
yeah, basically.
It's not scripted.
I get it. I get it now. I understand it.
You put a bunch of little guys, a bunch of weird little guys in a situation.
You put a bunch of monkeys in a box and see what happens.
Yeah, and sometimes if they're not doing anything interesting, you shake the box.
You poke them with a stick.
And it's not only that, like, you have to wrangle them. Like, you know, like, when your campaign just goes sideways and you're like, no, that's the same thing. You're like, get back.
Or you know, when it's too calm, you throw something in there.
You throw a grenade in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or, you know,
basically.
in the same way that, like, okay, things are too calm right now, let me throw some backstory shit for this character, or, like, let me put something here that causes some tension amongst the characters. That's exactly what a producer on a reality show does.
That actually makes sense, like, doing that for a Okay, I get it.
So, I think, yeah, that's the best way I have found to, like, explain how reality shows work, because people love to say that, oh, it's scripted, it's fake, it's whatever. It's like, yeah, but no, it's manipulated, it's directed, but it's more like,
yeah.
Okay.
Does that feel right, Marissa? Am I getting that right?
That sounds exactly right. Like, you're not, no one's following anything, but you're just going with them and taking it.
I think a rule of thumb on reality TV shows, at least from what I've seen, is whenever you hear someone talk but you don't see their face or you don't see their lips moving, they probably didn't say that at the same time.
I mean, yeah, that doesn't happen that often.
No.
And a good editing team will make that very seamless, and you will not notice.
Okay.
If something's being taken out of context.
Alrighty.
And that's why there's a whole, like, category of award for, like, editing in reality TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which RuPaul's Drag Race has won, like, several times in their early... I
believe
like, Drag Race that's my, like, trash reality TV of choice.
I love Drag Race. Oh, gosh.
And, yeah, their editing is really savage. It's so funny. At least in the early seasons. They've gotten a little too... It's become a little bit like RuPaul's Best Friend Race.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more catty, I feel, but we're not here to talk about that.
We're not here to talk about it.
I mean,
that's a different
I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win.
That is my favorite reality TV show line.
I
love
that. I'm also obsessed with, I don't actually watch any of the Real Housewives, but I love, like, whenever I come across clips, just out of context, of Real Housewives shows, I'm just mesmerized.
What sort of clips? The ape shit ones, or, like, the just really, subtle ones?
The one that she was like, there's nothing fake about me, bitch. The only thing that's fake about me is that she throws her prosthetic leg on the table.
I have never watched Housewives either, but it's, like, from everything that I've seen, it is a chaotic show. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Maybe you should have just sat there and ate your food. Like, we wouldn't have gotten, like, there's just so many, like, iconic pop culture moments that I feel like we wouldn't have gotten without reality TV. And, like, thank you. I don't know.
I will say I did have a reality TV phase when I was younger. Like my favorite one was Surreal Life when MTV. I don't think they do it anymore, where they get a lot of essentially has been celebrities and just throw them in a house and have them do weird challenges, and whoever gets to the end gets money, I think.
Well, now they just do Big Brother Celebrity Edition, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I guess that's the same thing.
I don't know if they do that in the US, but I know they do, like, there's a UK version, there's an Australian version.
I know Big Brother's huge.
I think Brazil also does a Big Brother Celebrity version. Honestly, growing up, I thought that Big Brother was, like, only a Brazilian thing. We had Big Brother Brazil. Because, like, BBB, that, like, the alliteration, it worked out.
Makes sense.
When we moved out here and I found out that they do Big Brother here, I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Whoa, what is this?
But you don't have the triple Bs. That doesn't make any sense.
The moment from Surreal Life I will always remember is, I think the very first season. They had Vanilla Ice and Ron Jeremy on, and they were, like, two of the last three. The third person I didn't remember. But it was basically like alliance situation of like Ron Jeremy and Vanilla Ice make an alliance. Like they won't vote for each other. And then Ron Jeremy betrays Vanilla Ice. and Vanilla Ice gets so mad on Ron Jeremy. They're at these podiums and like it's got Surreal Life, I think, like spelled out in big like bulbs on the side. That's their dressing. And he's like, you swore on your mother's life! You swore on your mother's life! And he just goes crazy. And he just starts trashing the entire set. I'm just like, oh, that man was legit mad. Like,
oh, man.
Either like, this is the best fake I've ever seen, or like, he got real mad. And yeah, he was just out. And he just like destroyed the place. I was like, oh, fuck. Like... He, like, all those years of, like, people call him, like, a fake and shit, like, all just came out in that moment. But, yeah, and I've seen a lot of other stuff, but that's the one that always stuck with me. I'm just like, do not fuck with Vanilla Ice. He's got a lot of anger.
Marissa, I think that flows nicely into you are a DM, so...
I am, yeah.
Are these things connected?
Yes, very much. DMing is basically like producing you're basically producing things. You're making people follow a direction in a way that you want them to go and take them, and like it's basically a reality show. You're giving them creative freedom, but in a way that you need to wrangle them in a certain way to get not exactly an outcome you want, but an outcome you need. So like, oh, if they need to go fight this monster, you gotta get them to that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta put the breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
not
like a little
make
trail.
them feel like they're being railroaded.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah, that analogy makes sense. You're producing the show essentially and letting them play.
I mean, in this day and age of live play shows and stuff, that can get a little harrowing to draw that comparison, but I don't think it's completely inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so local DM got to connect with you through Danny, who should be our previous episode, I think, depending on when this goes up. And he's talked about some of the situations you put in.
Wait, Marissa, you're Danny's DM. Are you the one responsible for naming?
Yes.
For reminding?
Lisa, that's who this is.
Yeah.
That's who this is.
Did you read any of the messages I sent you?
No, I don't.
Lisa, my God.
Listen, I show up. In the words of, one of the greatest philosophers, one of the great philosophers of our age, Kanye West, you should be honored by my lateness that I would even show up to this fiction.
Okay.
The only Kanye
I'm
West
glad I
know.
mentioned it at some point.
Listen, sorry. I've had a long week. But that's not nearly a good enough excuse. I admit
you just show the fuck up.
Listen, I'm such a fucking deadbeat on this show. Oh my god.
That really got me.
What was like Pete Davidson's like bit on SNL on like the news segment. He was like the tired teenager. That's me.
I have not watched enough SNL.
I don't know. That was before
either.
SNL started getting funny again, so... Anyways, I was trying to transition into asking Marissa about how you started DMing.
Thank God.
How did you start playing?
So I actually started, I think it was like 2019, and like some of my friends watched Critical Role. People in Orlando, and they were like, "Hey, we want to start like a D&D campaign. Will you join us?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, I would love to." So I joined them, and then I went off to college, so I had to leave their campaign. And I was like, "Let me just start one." And then I had one, and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
We played like a couple sessions, and then we all had to leave, and so then we like picked it up online, and then that was rough. And so I was like, okay, I can't keep going with this campaign because I don't know what's happening anymore.
Oh.
It was like, because it was all online, and then we were like, people were like, hey, can we do it in person? I was like, this campaign can't transfer in person. So I started a whole new campaign, and then that's what we're doing now.
Okay.
So you DM'd this whole time?
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Even the first one? Even the first game?
No, not the first campaign. I didn't DM that first campaign.
So question before we get into like your experience. So you started as a player.
Yes.
Most folks do. And it's a Critical Role, like that was part of the inspiration. So, and I know Lisa might connect a little more to this because big Critical Role fan, but like how integral was that to the campaign? Because I've heard stories of a lot of folks who get into D&D thinking it's going to be like Critical Role. Was that a thing?
Not really. I mean, I started with a bunch of other theater kids, so we all... Improv is like something we do, so we weren't... It was like, oh, we know how this is going to be different, then we take it on our own stride, do it our way.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's definitely that awareness that comes from understanding that, like, those people are doing something very specific. We've gotten into it. There's a whole episode.
Just wanted to see if you had
like
a horror story up the sleeve or something.
I don't really have horror stories.
It's good to know that you had a good experience, though. Yeah. Because we've heard, through... Can I call him a friend of the show, Crit Crash? I'm gonna call him a friend of the show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he's
claim
been
that.
on.
I'm gonna claim that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole channel of horror stories of people like getting into D&D because of Critical Role and then wanting their games to be like that and not really having the like awareness that like no.
It's not like that at all. Like
no.
Yeah.
That's
99% of the time, unless you have a bunch of actors on, it's not going to be like Critical Role.
Yeah. You don't have a guy who's been doing this since he was 12, like.
Yeah.
So you were...
Tell me about so naming NPCs after celebrities to help people remember them?
Oh, come on.
So, okay.
Come on. I thought we were going to start off... Okay, we're going hard out the gate. All right,
no,
go.
We can go into it.
I need to know about this.
So
who initiated that? Why are you a genius? How would you like your Nobel Peace Prize sent to you?
I won't argue.
I was following like a book. I'm following a book because I in college didn't have time to write my whole own like story and anything. So I started like saying the characters' names as they were in the story, and they were like the campaign. Sorry, none of my players were understanding their names. So I'd be like, oh, this character. And they're like, we don't know who this character is. I'm like, I literally just introduced you to this character. How are you guys not knowing? And so I describe. And then I'm a visual person. So I constantly send my players pictures of like characters and like what I believe they look like.
Okay.
And so this one character, I was like, yeah, okay, he looks like Ed Sheeran. So I sent out a picture of Ed Sheeran, and everyone was like, oh, it's Ed Sheeran. It's Ed Sheeran. I'm like, it's not Ed Sheeran, but I guess we can call him Ed Sheeran. And like, we just went with it. And then it started getting into the point where we were like...
And then you saw that it was clicking.
Yeah, it was clicking. And I was like, let me just go with it. And then it started out with Ed Sheeran and then Ronald Weasley, which is the only non-celebrity character in the campaign. Like, he's the only one based off of like a fictional character.
Because no one knows Rupert Grint. They just know Ron Weasley.
I didn't... It was my fault. I didn't know how to pronounce his name, so,
See? You see?
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's
In real
fair.
time.
So I
fair.
was like, oh, it's Ron Weasley. But, like, because those characters were so look-alike, and I was like, who looks like Ed Sheeran? I sent out a picture, and they're like, oh my god, it's Ron Weasley. And I was like, sure, go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, they look very similar. Like, I sent out a
They
picture,
do.
and everyone was like, they look the same. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
So,
And then Pitbull kidnaps Ed Sheeran.
yeah.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know, I started making the bad guy Pitbull, and my favorite part about the whole thing is, like, when they would, like, beat someone up, they'd run away yelling, Dale, and they're like, Dale!
How many times did he introduce himself as Mr. Worldwide?
Worldwide.
Mr. 305.
They never got to meet him yet.
Damn
they never
it.
got to, no, I know. But, like, they were
Oh.
like, oh, because it was, like, the Pitbull group, and, like, they knew them as Pitbull, and I was like, oh, God. Yeah. It was...
If they ever meet him, you have to like build him up. He's Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
He has to be a
Yes.
mage. He has to be able to cast Fireball.
Oh,
Very important to me.
I love that, and I will be taking that now. Thank you.
Oh God, I
You're
never
welcome.
even put it
You're welcome. You
together.
can have that one for free.
I appreciate it. Oh, gosh.
You have to have like a soundboard set up, so instead of like just saying, you just press a button and
Well,
Fireball.
Fireball.
I like to play bardcore covers of popular songs in the background
Yes.
when I do D&D.
Oh.
Like, that's something that I've
Nice
done all the
touch.
time. So they'll be like listening, and then there'll be like random pop music playing in the background, and I'm
Is
like,
that Shakira?
yeah,
Fantasy Shakira?
I love Shakira.
No, I love that. Is that one specific bardcore medieval channel on YouTube, right?
I found every single one. I have like 200 videos.
Oh my god.
I have
It's
so many
so
videos.
good.
If you ever
The
need a
one,
playlist,
Lisa? Please
like,
get on this
what?
level.
that's my favorite part of Bridgerton.
So Jared.
Like,
It-
if anyone here has
Yeah.
watched Bridgerton, that's my favorite part, is the
I'm not.
covers.
it's
Good show.
I hate and also love it when period pieces do that, because it's like, oh, you know what you are. You know
Mhm.
exactly what you are. You're not trying to pretend to be something else. You know what you are. It's great.
Okay.
But it's also so jarring when you're like, watching this drama and then it's like, is that Ellie Goulding? It's always a choice. It's always a choice. Whether it's a good one is debatable. but
I was
it's a
gonna say, I
choice.
think for your D&D campaign, Marissa, it's probably a good choice.
It's
It's one
yes.
I've never
Yeah.
actually thought about. Like, that's an interesting idea.
No, the bardcore ambiance is always it's always good. It's like my favorite thing when we're playing with the current game that I actually play consistently in.
Mhm.
It is either when we're playing like bardcore stuff or honestly the Hollow Knight soundtrack. That's my favorite. But that's neither here nor there.
I was gonna
think
say.
we could probably have an entire episode on just like choosing the music to
Mhm.
put in the background.
Mhm.
Like how do you pick your vibes?
a DM production episode.
Mm.
How do you get across the vibes?
Well,
The
actually,
sound, the visual, the map, whatever.
to that end. So you said you guys were playing online, Marissa?
Yes, we were playing online during the
Right.
pandemic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You were using the Roll20s. You were using the Beyonds.
I was using the Roll20. But, yeah. And no one
I
could...
hate
It was-
Roll20.
It was so bad. One time someone couldn't move themselves, so it was in a weird way where we were like, okay, this other person has to move that person. So it was a lot of like,
it was a permissions thing. Right?
yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
technical difficulties.
And Lisa, you know from experience, like,
Yeah.
I know how to use Roll20 very well, but that's because I've used it for a while. So I've seen you come in fresh, and if you don't know what you're doing on Roll20, shit's gonna there's gonna be some jank for a lot of the campaign if there's someone on who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's why I used Roll20 mostly just to give mood boards.
Your mood board idea, I never actually thought of that, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, but you noticed that I very rarely actually did maps because you explained it to me several times of how to
make the
resize the maps to make them fit the grids. Don't ask me to do it. I can't do it. It does take practice. It does take time.
But yes, Roll20. Like I said, I've used it for a long time. It's probably 2015. I think when I started, my first game was online, which is with the randos on Roll20, just learning what the hell RPGs are and playing Pathfinder. So I got to know it then, and then I did my research and actually looked up some games of people who actually knew what they were doing. So I learned a lot through watching those games, a lot of the technical stuff. So once you get it going, Roll20 can be super smooth, can be super, even with a free account, without any of the pay stuff, can be very, very good. And then if you want to do some more complex stuff, like the lighting, or if you want to do some custom API stuff, the paid account's absolutely worth it. Like if you want to run the Fantasy Flight Star Wars RPG systems, there's an API to because all their other weird Star Wars dice and the cancel and the success and failures, and you can do it with D6s or D8s, but just having an API do it for you is so much easier. So it can be really smooth, but it's absolutely something that you've got to wrap your mind around. And I'll say, sometimes not the most beginner friendly. As you can probably, both of you can probably attest.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, Marissa, so you said you were running published campaigns, and is the one you're running now a homebrew, or are you still running published campaigns?
I'm still running published campaigns, just...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which one?
So we're running Waterdeep Dragon Heist. That's what we're running.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you're doing the same. Okay, so... Alright.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would like to play in it someday.
We've gone on about this. Me and Lisa basically always played in homebrew worlds in one way or another.
Yeah.
Maybe played Lost Mine of Phandelver, and that's about it. And then someone shoots off into another thing.
Yeah, that's a thing, is we finally finished Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Oh, God.
It took months, but we got there. We did it, team.
It took months. Alright.
We've discovered that our party is very, we're kind of murder hobos. We're very much
oh, Lisa.
Attack first,
goodness.
ask questions later.
Ask questions never.
Yeah, we're kind of just holding the fort until one of us can cast Speak with Dead.
Oh,
and
God.
then we're really off to the races once that happens.
Lisa, we have talked about the murder hobo.
You know what? Sometimes you're here for a good time and not a good time. Sometimes you just gotta get some stuff out of your system, and you have to do it by entering a room full of bugbears, guns blazing.
On that same note, Marissa, we've gone on with other folks about how D&D's helped them either work out things that emotions that they can't work out, or they try to work out in real life, but it gives them a space where they can do that a bit more freely, or explore ideas that they've been curious about in storytelling. So has D&D allowed you to do something like that, either you or your players?
I like to think so. I don't really know. my players are a mess. And they're the kind of players that you don't ever know what they're going to do. You're like, oh, but like, I mean, they're also like my close friends, so I personally know what's going on in their lives and stuff. So I can kind of pick up when they're like bringing real life stuff. But we're a very campaign where we're like, hey, personal life gets left at the door because we're also so close that like stuff happens in between us. So we're like, hey, out. But I mean, for me personally, yeah, I've been able to really like improv more and work on like all of that. And that's really fun and exciting for me to bring that in.
Think on your feet.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, like how do you navigate, setting those boundaries and, setting those expectations of like, hey, we're here for a good time. We can have family therapy later.
It's not the easiest, but it's but it's really just been like, hey, like you're not in this situation. Like right now, you're not you're your character. Like one of my best friends is playing, and she during the campaign started dating one of the other players, and I'm like, hey, you're not dating in this campaign. Remember that. Thank you.
Like, so when that happened, did their characters all of a sudden just start being real friendly to each other?
Yeah, and like, just, hey, remember, like, if you want it to happen, it can happen, but just naturally, just not like, hey, one day. Yeah.
A switch flipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always think it's funny when people in who are like in real life are in relationships just like hate each other. Their characters just hate each other. I don't know. I think that's funny.
I love that.
That's kind of me and Caitlin in the other game that we're playing for Orbital Blues, where her character is very closed off, and my character is always trying to get her to open up. So she like hates me, but like we're obviously very good friends in real life, but I'm always going to try to open up in the game, and the character's like, fuck you. Like, she benefits from, like, emotionally shutting down. That's part of the mechanics of the game. Like, you act like you act towards your bad behaviors, and you'll get, things that can boost you. But, of course, you're acting like a bad person, so usually something bad's happening because of that. Yeah.
Would you look at that? The consequences of my actions.
Okay, that's interesting, especially that dating IRL and then in the game. Oof.
Wait, and that brings us to The Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
I was gonna say the logical endpoint is you're creating your own campaign, right?
Yeah, that one started because my friend was like, "Hey, like." She was like, I was thinking about it, and you can make a D&D campaign about anything, right? I was like, yeah. She goes, will you make one about The Bachelor? So, because, like, me and my friend are really into The Bachelor. Like, we went to Bachelor Live on stage and everything.
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah, we were in the show. It was good. So she's like, can you make a Bachelor? And I was like, of course. So I'm currently still in, like, making it, development, because I was like, do we want this to be like fantasy or modern? And then they threw me for a loop and they're like, can we make it modern? I'm like, sure. So I can't use any of the like anything basically. I'm just like taking like
I think on Roll20 they are coming up with a new version of the D&D 5e rules that's reskinned for modern times. I forget what it's called. But I think it's coming out soon. So it's basically, 5e, but reskinned for modern times. So if you're really comfortable with that, that might be a good choice for you.
I will look into that because I need it. I'm in the middle of like just like putting everything together. But in all, like they're like, can you just make it? I was like, yeah, of course. So we're doing a whole campaign. We're going to just start from the beginning, like for limo entrances and go all the way down to like final two.
Oh my god.
I'm excited.
You know what moment I think about all the time from The Bachelor is that girl who pretended to have an Australian accent because she thought that made her more interesting.
I really plan on like it.
What?
Yeah. It was
Oh my god.
It was bad. It's not a good entrance, I can tell you that.
Do you remember... We've been... We're working on something that, honestly, it's very much parallel thinking. It's giving great minds.
We're not gonna mention it now, but we can talk to you after we're done.
We're gonna tease. There's something coming.
Yes,
a little bit different.
A very
that we're doing,
different special episode.
Yeah. So, do you have any ideas of how you're incorporating?
I was gonna say before we move on, I just looked it up, Marissa.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on Roll20, look up the Everyday Heroes Quick Start Guide. It is the 5e rules but reskin for modern times, and it's free. You
perfect.
can get it, and it is literally no money. So that might give you a good starting point.
What
that
was
would
it
be
called
great.
Again?
Everyday Heroes Quick Start Guide by Evil Genius Productions. You can look at it. It's in the marketplace, and it is free right now. I think it's in a pre-production Kickstarter mode, but it'll probably give you the framework of how the rules work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sorry to step on you there, Lisa. But I found
No,
the thing.
it's cool. I almost lost my train of thought there, but no, I was gonna ask, do you have any ideas of how you're going to approach this that you would be willing to share that's not spoilery?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is based off character development, because I'm gonna have everyone roll for what part when they step out of the limo. So it's gonna be oh, here initiative, we're gonna roll for when your spot is, and obviously if you're in the end, you're gonna get higher points. So I've been doing a lot of research online, and people okay, put a heart meter, and you can have them start at 0 and go up and down the heart meter depending on what they do. So if they end up with the end of the episode with higher points, then they stay, but if they're in the negatives, they can go home.
So you're actually going to kick off players as the...
I'm going to kick off players, but then I'm trying to figure out if I want to just hand them an NPC that might have beat them and let them continue by playing a rival.
Or do you want them to become part of the audience, and now the audience has an impact on the game?
I like that. That could be good.
Game/show.
Yeah. They help in the background. They're yeah.
Because ratings.
Right.
Are you good?
You could go pretty meta and have them be part of the crew.
They could they can choose the villain. The villain gets chosen by the crew. No one knows.
Wait, oh my god, you're so right. There's a turn, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a point.
Someone has to backstab someone.
The thing is,
it all comes back to the wrestling game.
It's also the thing where I feel it's your character, but at any point, you could be the villain. You don't know. I could all of a sudden be hey, guess what? You're the villain now. If one villain gets voted off, I gotta find a new one.
I think so. I think this is where the ideals and flaws, that sort of system, is going to be really useful, because you have them build in, okay, what are their good points and what are their bad points, and give them benefits for playing up to their bad points, and you will make yourself a villain very naturally.
Yeah,
especially
you can only have one Tiffany Pollard character.
That is true. You can only have one Tiffany if you have more. Mm-hmm.
You can only have one New York.
Oh, New York. I do remember New York. Goddamn.
Oh, she's iconic.
She was the pinnacle. Reality show villain.
She really set the bar.
Yep.
Somewhere.
In space.
Yeah. High entertainment value, really.
Yeah. It was the combination of just the reality show villainy, but also the return on investment for entertainment.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But okay, so it's going to be The Bachelor. So it's going to be about relationships, and eventually someone's going to get chosen. So is The Bachelor going to be a player, or is that going to be you?
So it's going to be me. I gotta go find a man because I want to have like multiple pictures. But it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna go off of because they're gonna like. Yeah, I don't want it to be a player. I feel like that would be too. You can't control as much as where it's going, so it's gonna be me, and we're gonna go.
It's really
with,
important.
Yeah.
And you can be as impartial as possible because, you're the DM and you kind of have eyes on everything.
What if it was, have you ever, okay, I know you've seen, I Want to Marry Harry?
What?
The one
Yes!
Yes, okay.
Excuse you, what is this?
Okay, so this one is truly unhinged. It's a reality dating show where a group of women are gathered and they are told that they are competing for the hand of Prince Harry.
Oh,
but it's just some guy.
Dear God, how did they fall for this?
Well, they get all these dumb American women. Like, they're not British. They don't know anything.
Who would think that they would just put the prince to be married on a reality show?
It was the mid-2000s, or the early 2000s. Like, it was the Wild West.
And he was fairly handsome, I assume?
Oh, no, yeah, Prince Harry's the cute one.
Oh, boy.
It's William's the one that looks a bit...
He did not age well at all.
No.
Oh,
No.
Okay, you're right.
He's a wiglet.
I was getting him mixed up.
Yeah, no, that show.
So...
just really...
What?
So, you gotta do like a fake out, double cross.
A double cross at the end.
Of some sort. You gotta really, like... The villain was really...
The show all along.
Well, the other option you could go with is, like, has anyone seen Joe Millionaire?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen Joe Millionaire. Oh my fucking God.
That's like, it's like the Harry one, but he was supposed to be a millionaire.
I Want to Marry Harry is 2014.
He's just a dude.
Why did I think it was like 2008?
I thought it was earlier as well. Wow, really?
Yeah, wow.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It was only one season, which makes sense.
Yeah, it can only work once.
They can't do it again.
Yeah. God, what a good bit.
This was a real thing.
It's really a show where, like, you really cannot do a second season because, by then people have watched it.
Then the secret's blown.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, you could probably do the same concept, but it's gotta be, like, the Princess of Goa on season 2 or something like that.
Right.
Like some country no one's heard of.
But I Want to Marry the Princess of Goa doesn't have the same ring as I Want to Marry Harry.
You just made...
You need the rhyme.
I know. The name is great. The name is amazing.
You can tell that somebody thought of the name first and was like...
This is a good idea. We're gonna go with this.
How do we do this?
How do we shoehorn this into a concept?
And just, like, really, like, leveraging American ignorance.
Oh, boy.
Early 2000s, sorry, off topic, but early 2000s reality shows are my favorite things.
Some of them got buck wild.
Yeah.
But, like, in the same realm for, I don't think I've ever actually watched an episode of The Bachelor all the way through. But they have to do things, right? There's, like, challenges.
There's challenges.
Yeah.
So what would you do?
Well, there's, like, football challenges, so, like, athletics, and then, like, binge eating. That's a weird one. Competition style, like, things. That's a lot of them. Is, like, competition style.
It's basically like who can be hot and fun and sporty and smart and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
And also do some weird, gross things sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
how can we humiliate these people just a little bit? Because that is part of, like, what makes reality shows like this fun. Especially the ones that are, like, the dating shows, like, there's, like, a weird boom of them happening right now with the Love Island and, like, Too Hot to Handle. What's the other one? Love in the Jungle, Love Island, and all of these reality shows. I feel like the common through line is hot people in humiliating situations. It's just, and it's cathartic.
it's been, because like, it's really always been like that, which is kind of like interesting, because me and my friend started watching the show, oh my god, I can't even remember it. But it was this girl, and she was dating all these men, and some of them were gay. She was trying to figure out who was gay. It's really bad.
Oh my god. Oh, wait. No, I need to find out. What is it? Oh my god.
Playing it straight.
Oh my god.
They're pretending to be straight men, but they also do these weird, like, competitive style, like, competitions. It's a weird show. I recommend it, though.
2004.
Yeah.
While you are looking that up, I will also recommend
Is that Jamila Jamil?
Oh yeah, she's the host in the British version.
Never mind. Just never mind.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
She is pretty, and she is very tall.
Yeah. She's a person.
I liked her in the Good Place. She was awesome.
Yeah, no, she's great. But just, I don't know, imagining her hosting this reality show is just like, I don't know why, it's just so funny to me.
She's the host of some game show here in the U.S. I forget what show, but yeah, it's not out of the ordinary.
She's working.
Yeah.
I love...
She's like Terry Crews.
I love these, like... I love, like, when actors just, like, I don't want to do anything right now, so I'm just gonna go host, like, a game show or something.
Steve Harvey fell into that hole and just never gotten out. Doesn't do stand-up, doesn't act. He just does, Family Feud, and that's his life now.
Like, it's at the point where it's even hard to imagine him doing literally anything
else.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. It's, like, his thing now is just, like, Steve Harvey reactions to people saying stupid shit. But I will throw out there, back on the RPG side of things. If the Everyday Heroes system doesn't work out for you, I will also throw out the Fate Accelerated system. It's a simplified version of the Fate system, where that's all about about storytelling, about character interactions, and the whole... It's very little stats, and a lot of it is coming up with character traits and quote-unquote abilities that can honestly be anything, that work to tell a better story. So that's also a good, really simplified system that you could use if you want to move away from maybe having too much dice rolling in the game and focusing more on the role playing. That's a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we could sit here and talk about all of our favorite reality shows for much longer.
Get another 2-hour episode for Noel.
I don't think that's what this episode is about. That's not what this show's about. That's our other podcast, Oops, All Housewives. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna trademark that, actually.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Just the Oops, All Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
But, Marissa, in the meantime, our question that we always ask is there anything that you've learned that you know now that you would have given yourself as a piece of advice when you first started playing?
Yeah, just take everything as it goes. So if players are going to throw weird things at you, just take it and run with it. Name all your characters after celebrities if they don't remember their characters' names. Just go for it.
Just
take take weird TikTok references and put them in your campaign. Just take it and go and just have fun. That's something that I guess, like, Beacon or DM Marissa, I would go back and talk to her and be like, hey, just have fun. There's nothing serious. Just let it run.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great advice. There's some people who really get... It's easy to fall into the trap when you first start out of, like, really playing it too straight to the point where you're kind of not letting yourself have fun because you have this like idea of what it should be or like what the rules are of what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not letting yourself like actually enjoy what is going on because you're like, no, but we're supposed to be doing other things. And no, relax, have fun, take it, run, like this is a game.
Yeah,
I think unless you've all agreed up front that this is going to be like serious role play game, which some people do, roll with it. That's usually where Lisa and I can both attest some of the best stuff comes from. Like, hey, we adopted a baby. Hey, we accidentally did a colonialism.
Oh, okay.
Or there's some iconic Caitlyn moments of when in one of our one shots she just like was a Karen. And she's like, I love that. I just wanted a mimosa or something like that. It's like I think we got into like a bar brawl or something, and she's like, I just wanted a mimosa, and that's honestly one of the most iconic like quotes to me.
That's so good.
And that's like the thing I love is like it to me. It's something I think about often. Of I just wanted a mimosa, but that's like a joke for like 3 people. 4.
Well, that's why we're doing this podcast. Get it out to other folks.
Yeah. Do you have any moments that stand out like that for you that are like, this is a joke for the 4 people that were at this table, but I really wish I could tell this joke to 4 people?
Yeah. So I can't remember what the creature was, but it was like those like crow-ish creatures, and one of my
Kenku?
Yes. So one of my players is like, hey, if I spit into its mouth, will it think I'm his mother? And I'm like, sure, roll and see if that works. So it worked. And so he's like, I'm going to name it Spiticus. And I'm like, oh God. So one of my players had a Kenku just named Spiticus, and he came everywhere with her, just followed the whole campaign. I was
just
like,
kept repeating things.
Yes!
Okay.
That's incredible. That's feral. Yeah. I love that.
I was going to say,
shout out Spiticus.
That's absolutely chaotic. And it could potentially be useful, because now they have just like a living, breathing recording device in case they ever need to regurgitate someone saying something.
Oh,
they
yeah.
ever need to do a fantasy Watergate.
Yes! He's just hiding under the desk.
You
listening
know
to everything.
Wait, fantasy Watergate. Somebody write that down.
I mean, that's probably the setting for like some actual campaigns, some like taking real politics and just turning it fantasy.
Wait, an interesting campaign.
Would it though?
No, I feel it could be very problematic.
I think it could be, but if you want to do a really politicky, really probably not combat heavy campaign,
make it like a facet of a political intrigue plot.
The leader of the country's doing some shady shit to the opposition, and you have to find proof. But we all know that he obsessively records himself. Yeah. Because he thinks that other people are recording him. You have to find the proof that he keeps himself, and then once you have it, you have to make sure he doesn't, disappear you into the night.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like something that should be just like a medieval plot, and then you realize, like, this is real. Right? How dare you? How dare you? Marissa, anything you want to plug?
I'll plug my Instagram. It's just Marissa_Schwartz. That's on Instagram if you want to follow me, I guess, on my Montana trip. And see me go to Montana.
See the glory of Montana.
Yeah, I post over there. That's really all I got.
Marissa, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming
I appreciate it.
Thank you for illuminating on the celebrity NPCs, because that really...
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that idea.
And
might steal it.
Once you
use it.
Once you start running your Bachelor game, I'm gonna need you to come back on and tell us.
I will. I'll let you all know.
I need to hear a play-by-play of how that went down.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting.
We'll 100% let you guys know. I'm hoping to do it sometime this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes.
Awesome.
I know I'm deeply looking forward to that.
Like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us immensely with the algorithm. If you're on Spotify, give us a like there. Share us around if you really like us. And, yeah.
Or if you don't, tell your friends, like, hey, there's this
Listen to us.
podcast. Yeah. It's terrible, but for some reason I just listen to it because I just hate these people so much. I need to know what nonsense they're saying, so that I can have more fuel to hate them, and that's fine.
We're climbing up there. So yeah, some folks listen and are not subscribed. So if you listen, go ahead and subscribe. It helps us. So we can. It's
free. It's easy.
It's free. It's easy, and it helps us so we can start getting some revenue and doing some bigger things. We have ideas, but we need money for them. We need that sweet YouTube money and that Spotify money if you're listening there. So yeah, do all the things. That would be nice of you.
Or just say something nice in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Tell us
comment.
your favorite reality show that you would like to see turned into a D&D campaign.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter as well. We have plans, and by the time this goes up, we should be getting more active on that. Goodbye.
Yeehaw. Goodbye. Oops All Dragons is a group effort. Our show is edited by Noel Hernandez. Our theme was composed by Brendan Lyons, and our logo art is by Azif On Q. Links to more of their work and their social media will be in the show notes. Find us on YouTube and Spotify, and check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Oops All Dragons.